Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Hello YouTubers and welcome back to How to Paint Watercolours with me, Colin. Chosen another sunset, golden sunset, this one in a tropical island setting. I've stretched my paper both sides, so I'm just leaving a very thin film of water on the surface. Cadmium yellow deep and lemon yellow. Quinacridone gold. Around the sides. Just strengthening it up in areas, leaving some light patches and some dark patches. We'll just give in some variation. This is Indian red, alizarin crimson with some burnt sienna and French ultramarine added to it. Drop some clouds in. Making them random. Keeping an eye on the spread very carefully. Pulling a little dark in. Bring a little down here. Just add a little cadmium orange to that. It just seems a real mix of colours, but they do go together. A little of that colour into the sea. And we'll take a coin, place it in the kitchen towel, wrap it firmly round so you get the shape of the coin, and then take out your sun. And before we can add a little more colour to this, we're going to have to let this dry slightly so we get a less of a spread on it. So we'll leave this for about 5-10 minutes. Okay, I've left that about 10 minutes. A lot of the water has disappeared off the paper, so we're going to move back to the same colour, but this is a thicker mixture of it. It's only thicker, meaning less water in it. Indian red, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna and French ultramarine. And we're just going to check it. And I'm using quite a small brush for this, and I just want to put some extra detail in with these clouds. But I still want them to soften out, and where if it is too wet I can just leave it for a short period of time and then come back to it. I really want a good set of broken up clouds. Taking some off the page. Just dancing the brush around. Bring some here in. Allowing some of the yellow and the other colours to show through. just dropping it in. Strengthening some areas of it up. Weakened it down with a tiny bit of water to produce some down here. Just drop some in here a little bit. Helps to unify the painting. And now I'm going to leave that to dry. I've set the board at a slight angle, and to soften these clouds further in, I'm going to glaze over them with some Indian yellow, well watered down. So with the biggest brush you can get, pick up the paint, start from the top, and you see how that deepens the sky colour. Bringing it in here. Now I'm not going to glaze it all over because I still want that bright spot here, but I do have to join it all together. So I'm going to pick up some clean water and bring it together over the sun. It will pick up some of that paint, which is perfectly alright. Make sure we've got it in where we need it. And then we're going to leave that to dry. Now that that's dry, and I mean it's really dry before you can carry on, it's bone dry, you see how the glaze has softened the sky and the clouds in. If you wish to, you could actually re-glaze it and send it deeper, but for this demonstration I'm not going to do that. But what I'm going to do is put some clean water on this background hill, not too much, and taking some of my Indian red, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna with some French ultramarine added in. Just going to paint this in. I'm not going to do very much of this, it's just a background thing. Although it is nice to have some dark areas into it, so it just doesn't look like it's one big solid shape. And that's really all I want to do with that. I've mixed up two colours here. They're just cobalt blue and burnt sienna. One is thicker than the other, darker, slightly darker. It's just a little bit of cobalt blue. And I'm just going to lay this on, and I'm going to allow the paint to break off the brush as it runs out of water. Can get a slight green texture with this, but not overly bothered with that at this moment. Going into the first of our thicker colours, cobalt blue, burnt sienna. Bring this across. horizontal strokes all the way across. Bring it into the rocks so you end up with a straight line. Just letting the brush catch the tooth of the paper. The brush is basically dry. Then I'm going to take the thicker, darker mixture, and whilst it's still wet in those areas, we're going to darken up some areas. Just creating the horizon line. Just get the right pot. Now that has to dry. Once more, that layer is dry. So I'm going to apply another thicker coat, thicker layer. Once again, allow it to break. Almost a dry brush. It can take you some time to build up your water this way. Sometimes building a watercolour painting up is a bit like layering a cake, or Shrek would say, onion layers. Just allowing it to scrub. Then I also want to add some colour of the sky that was in from the clouds. Clean water, just soften one or two edges off. Pencils from marine and burnt umber. And put this filler in on the side here. So this is the Indian red colour with all the alizarin crimson and burnt sienna and French ultramarine in it. This is where the rocks are. I think right where that is, we might be able to scrape just a little highlight out. This is my trusty oil painting knife. and that gives it more interest. Just using up all the colours now for this. Leaves out. I'm using the tip of the dagger brush and a few of the hairs that are on it, and I'm just allowing it to break, giving you the impression of the leaves, the fronds. Turn it round to do the others. These brushes are so versatile. Then maybe there's the one coming out here. And then we have to leave all this to dry. Once your painting is completely dry, just take a craft knife and where the dark patches are, just scrape off some paint down to the white paper, and it will leave the tops of the waves without you having to use white paint, and adds a little bit of sparkle to the water. Just going to put a couple of seagulls in the sky. Put one over here. This is where you get to sign it, put a frame around it or a mat, and then frame it. As I said before, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please click the like button and subscribe. All subscribers are welcome and it's free. I'll leave a link in the description box to the YouTube videos I've made. And I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. Thank you.